Hello, everyone. Happy August 24th, 2021. Last time we talked about the importance of praising or complimenting and appreciating another person before criticizing their performance. Today, I'd like to give you two more strategies on how to be a leader and change people without offending them or being resentful later on. So we talked about last time about the importance of beginning with a praise and honest appreciation. Another thing that you can do is to not say the word but when you want to criticize someone, because what happens is you praise someone but then you say but you can do. So if you do that, no one will live to your expectations. So you want someone to do something, you have expectations of them, so instead of saying but, you want to actually use the word and. It's a better connector in this situation, and it makes it seem like that the praise is sincere, honest, and truthful, and makes people want to follow through on your expectations. So if you want to change someone's behavior, say and instead of but. If you say but, they will think the praise wasn't truthful and that you didn't actually mean it. So the criticism will be taken more harshly and they will be put more on the defensive side. If you say and, the criticism will be softened and makes it more smooth, and it would make it seem as if you're honest with the praise that you initiated with, right? It makes it seem less harsh. But if you use the word and, it makes it seem like you want the person to get better. As if you're praising them, they're doing a good job. It makes it seem like the praise is actually truthful and honest, and it just encouraging people to be the best version of themselves. So it's like it's saying as if you're already doing amazing, but maybe if you do this, it will be 100%. So saying and is very, very powerful. When you say but, what you're actually doing is that you're praising the person initially, but you're not doing, then you're going to criticize that person. So that praise initially is not very sincere when you use the word but, and the criticism sounds much more harsh, and so the person is much less likely to follow through what you want them to do. They will very likely not follow through on your expectations, and you will succumb to failure because the person will not change their behavior and will not do what you want them to do. The next thing that you can do in terms of being a leader is to talk about your own faults humbly before discussing the faults of another person. So before criticizing another person, you want to admit your own mistakes and shortcomings, and that really helps again change someone's behavior, and so he lives to your expectations, so he follows through on what you tell him to do. After all, we're all human and we all make mistakes, so it's normal, right? So you can talk to him about your mistakes that you made previously as well, and maybe how to avoid them. And that kind of shows the person that even though he made mistakes, it's not so bad because everybody makes them, even you made them. We're all human. Only then can you criticize someone else for the wrong he or she has done. You also want to consider the person's age and experience, because experienced people will naturally perform better than beginners and have better judgment. So you can't expect beginners to perform as well as experts or as well as people who have a lot of experience in the field or in the area. So again, it really helps to know the person's level and not start by criticizing him because he may not be experienced and he may not have the right level of judgment and problem solving, etc. He may not have the same level of experience as you do or as another expert does. So what helps is to admit your own mistakes in that area when you had less experience, like that person right now, and only then tell him what you want him to change on. It also helps if you actually praise that individual. So praise him for what he's doing well and admit your own mistakes when you were younger, when you had less experience like him, on what you want him to improve, and only then can you tell him where his fault is. So two great strategies on top of the previous strategy that I mentioned in the previous video, where you want to praise the person, show honest appreciation, and give him a compliment. And you also want to use the connector "and" on how the person can improve even more after you praise them. And also it helps if you admit your own mistakes and acknowledge that you also have done something wrong in the past when you didn't have as much experience as that individual.